Hello everybody, it's only me. Happy Monday. I hope you are well. Well, today's topic is about trust. It's about who do you trust, which party do you trust with your vote. Well, I think the majority of people are going to say, I don't trust any of them. And isn't that a problem? It's a huge problem. Now, where did this mistrust come from? I personally think my mistrust started with Brexit because I didn't take an interest in anything political until Brexit. I researched, I decided, I got the family together. We had a whiteboard in the back garden. We went through the pros, we went through the cons of what to do. I knew it was an important decision that had to be made that could affect all of my children and my grandchildren's futures. And that trust was betrayed. Now, it wasn't just betrayed by the party in government, it was betrayed by opposition parties too. And that was because they didn't like the way the majority of the people had voted. I still laugh today because people think we've left Europe. They obviously didn't understand what we were voting for. Now, you know, back in the day, when we first joined the EU, people thought they were joining a trading bloc. That's what it was supposed to be about. And look where it ended up. It ended up being a dictatorship telling us what to do on everything, even how bananas were weighed. This is where the problem is. This is where the problem is with the WHO as well. You know, that the whole idea of a WHO pandemic treaty, I don't see why it should be called a treaty and why it should be legally binding, but that's by the by. The point is, on the whole, you know, if there was a pandemic, it would be good for one body to coordinate things. It would be good, but again, it comes to lack of trust through the last pandemic, and now people just don't trust the WHO. An update on that as well. There was supposed to be a week this week where they were all going to be talking about the changes. Some countries had decided they didn't want it because they didn't like the wording in lots of things. Anyway, a good bit of news, as you can see further down my thread, is that it didn't go through. It hasn't been agreed. No doubt it will be, as people do point out, probably behind closed doors, and then it will end up going through. But we live to breathe another day on that. We all thought that possibly would have been signed. Now, I don't think Rishi wants to sign it. You know, I mean, is he going to be able to sign this? Yes, he probably can, as much as Parliament is prorogued. Yes, we found out that he can do that, thanks to people on this thread with a legal background. But we've got a little bit of a reprieve. But again, it's all about lack of trust, because they end up just changing these treaties, which is again what happened with the EU. So who do we trust? There's so many people, especially on here, saying, well, I'm not voting Labour, I'm not voting Tories, I'm not voting Lib Dems, I'm not voting Greens, I don't like the Green Deal, I don't like what they did to us by locking us down. And unfortunately, there's not a cigarette paper between the top two parties because we've got a two-party system. Now, I know I'm just repeating stuff the mainstream media have said and everybody else has said, but it's factual. There isn't any different. They've got stupid buzzwords, especially one of them being plan. The majority of people think it's a plan for this country. Of course it's not. If they planned anything for this country and they wanted this country to do well, they wouldn't have allowed what's happened to this country to happen. They would have stopped things. They would have stopped it getting to the state that they did. There would have been objections from opposition. There's not. There's not been. There's billions and billions of our pounds gone abroad while our country is sinking, and they've still not done anything about it. They could have saved Tata Steel. Why didn't they? Because they didn't want to. They didn't want that good steel being produced here. They're looking for Britain to be downtrodden so that they'll just accept things when things are so bad. And in the meantime, they're wittering away doing other things, doing this, doing that, and implementing this and implementing that. And again, this is all comes down to trust. Now, what it got me thinking was manifestos. Does anybody read them? I don't think the majority do. I think they listen to the BS that comes out and they think, oh, I like that idea and I'm voting for them. I'm going to change my mind this time. I'm going to vote for them because they believe in this. And have you noticed the Tories have come out with all these things that they're going to do? Well, why haven't they come out with them in the past 14 years? But now that there's a general election, these things all come out. Again, people can see past all this now because they don't trust them. Anyway, what was hidden in the last manifesto, the last Tory manifesto? Way, way down. On page 2 zillion was, of course, something that affects us today and is the reason that a lot of the country's in such a state, which of course is net zero. So what's going to be hidden in this manifesto? What's going to be hidden in any of the parties' manifestos? Do you know how to find a manifesto? I'm assuming going on their website. But I can tell you something now. I'll be having a little look through them and I'll be probably looking in depth when I can be bothered, because it's so damn boring, isn't it? But it's important. If the Tory voters of the last time had looked into this a bit more, maybe net zero wouldn't be so relevant and in our faces as it is today. They're not legally binding, these manifestos. They don't, what they say in them, they don't have to produce, and yet the bits they really want in there hidden. Sounds like the USA government, this, doesn't it? With everything they put in front of Congress. It's not just the top bits, it's what's hidden in depth, and this is where the lack of trust comes. So will you be looking through the manifesto, or are you just not going to bother voting? And of course, this is another problem, isn't it, with people not voting. I think at the moment, where most people are, from the inboxes that I get, and I do get a lot of your inboxing us, and I really do appreciate everything that you do. You do keep me informed about all sorts, because I can't watch everything. I mean, I work, I do. You know, I look after my grandkids, and I'm out there, and I do stuff. And there's so much information out there, you physically can't see everything what's going on. So I do appreciate it. But everything that is going on, is the information that is coming through is sometimes quite overwhelming. It's quite overwhelming for us who are interested in politics, never mind the ones who aren't, who will probably just go and not vote at all, or go and just vote for who they've always voted for. But I think the trust issue is actually huge. I really do. I mean, how many times have we asked for control of migration? Not to ban it, not to stop it, just for controlled migration. Legal? Obviously, not illegal. I don't think we should have any. That should be net zero. So what do you think? What do you think about this trust issue? Will you be reading the manifesto? Will you be looking at the small print, or are you just not going to bother? or you're not going to bother voting. It's a real difficult one at the minute, isn't it? Because the trust has simply gone. Are we going to get a continuity of government, basically, with the same plan, the globalist plan? It's in my face, so everything is there. It's all in plain sight. People can see what this plan is all about, but it's certainly not about you or I. Anyway, I'm off skis. Speak to you soon. Bye.